these are some of the best leads you should call, in my opinion. So if you're not calling these leads, you're probably losing on a lot of business and you're probably missing out. So I'm going to break down exactly what leads you should call first. After cold calling for 5 months, I'm going to share with you some of the best leads that I call, that I've been seeing a lot success with. So I'm going to break down exactly. So make sure you stay all the way through. And quick disclaimer, I am not a real estate coach. I am an agent just like you, trying to make it over here. So I'm not here to I'm not trying to sell you any course. As you know, these coaches, they do try to sell you these courses, which is, they try to sell you way more expensive than you think. I mean, if you're a new agent, you're just starting out, you don't have that kind of money to spend. I know some coaches, they do sell courses for like $6,000 to $8,000. In my opinion, that's a lot of money, especially for new agents. So this channel, I just share my experience. I share my wins, my failures, and if you can learn something from here, great. I mean, I've been getting a lot of messages, a lot of positive comments, feedback. People are actually learning from my videos. That's great, but I'm not a coach, so I'm just trying to put it out there. So all right, so let's get straight to it. So number one that I would call, in my opinion, it's FSBO. So FSBO stands for sale by owners, and in my opinion, these are the first one you should call. Now it's going to depend what market you're in, because every market is different. Some market may have a lot of FSBOs, some market might not have a lot of FSBOs. In my case, in my market, especially in my small town, we don't really get that many FSBOs. Sometimes I have to call some FSBOs that they're like an hour away, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. So sometimes I call them. But if you're like in a market where you have a lot of FSBOs, you get FSBO every day, you should definitely call those first. You should definitely, those are really good leads. So, and I'm gonna give you some of the pros and cons to each of these, because I do call them all the time. So definitely, I've been seeing a lot of success with the FSBOs, and the pros about FSBOs is they do answer the phone. So the answering rate is really good. So most of the time they do pick up the phone. You know, every time I call FSBO, sometimes I might get like maybe 2 or 3 that doesn't answer the phone, but most of it, they do answer the phone. Now, you might say FSBOs are tough. So I think it's not that they're tough. So if you're not confident enough when you call them, you're just gonna feel like, you know, if you're gonna feel like they know more than you, that's when it's gonna start to get like, you're gonna get really nervous, and you're gonna, you know, whatever they say to you, it's gonna break you. So with the FSBO, you really need to be really confident when you call them. Otherwise, they can feel it, they can hear it. So if you're not confident enough, they're gonna shut you down right there. Now, the con about FSBO is you're not 95%. You're not gonna get anything on the first call, and second call, you're probably not gonna get anything either. So you're gonna get rejected when you call FSBO no matter what. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what script you use. It does not matter. 95% you're gonna get rejected. So that's the con about FSBO, but that's fine. But I think FSBO, I think they're great lead to follow up. That's somebody that it's already raising their hand. They want to sell their house. Now, competition. It is gonna be a lot of competition. Other agents will be calling them as well. They're gonna get so many calls. You know, but they do answer the phone. So call FSBO. If you have a lot of FSBO in your market, call those first. That's the first one I call. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share too what leads that I called so far that I have taken the listing, and what are some of the ones that maybe you should call last. Now, the second one that you should call is expired listings. Now, this one, I'm going to tell you too, some pros and cons about it. Now, if you're like in the market, I know some agents that I talk to, they're in a market where they have so many expired listings. Like in my market, it's very competitive. We don't get that many expired listings here. So when I do get some, I call those after. But first, that's why I called FSBO first. Now, with expired listings, the con about it, it's going to be really hard. Expired listings going to be really hard. Most of the time, they're upset. Their home didn't sell. They don't want to talk to an agent. You know, they don't want to deal with another agent. So it's going to be very difficult. I mean, cold calling, it is very hard in general. That's why most agents don't want to do it or can't handle it. And these leads too, remember, most of the time nothing is going to happen on the first call, so it's going to be in the follow-up. That's where you're going to see success, which is I'm going to share with you my experience there in a little bit. In the follow-up, that's where you're going to see success. Sometimes you might get lucky with these expired listings. If it's a motivated seller, they want to sell right away, they might give you an appointment, but most of the time they're not going to give you the appointment. And the expired listings, you're going to get hung up on a lot because they're getting so many calls. Now, when should you call expired listings? You should call expired listings the first thing in the morning when you first wake up or whatever you do, but at least 7:50 in the morning, you should be on your phone getting ready. Boom, 8 o'clock, you should be calling the new expired listings. So if you have a lot, then just call those. Just call those. If you call for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, that's why I highly recommend call for a minimum of 2 hours. 2 hours at least. I mean, sometimes I do 4 hours, but you got to do at least the minimum of 2 hours. So call the new expired, and then you go to the older ones, which is sometimes they maybe already listed. Expired listings, sometimes they come back on the market in the next 48 to 72 hours, especially the motivated sellers. And then sometimes you might get one that, okay, I'm just going to wait for now. Maybe I'll put it down a couple of months. I'll put it on the market a couple of months or check back, which is, I had a guy, it wasn't expired. When I called, it took me 4 months to actually meet up with him. Every time I would call him, like, call me next month, call me next month, call me next week. I'm not ready yet, until he actually gave me the appointment. So that's why it's in the follow-up. So first one, FSBO, and again, this is just my opinion. So it depends on your market. If you get a lot of expired, then maybe call expired first and then jump on into FSBO. So it depends how you're seeing success. So sometimes I switch it up too. Now the con about expired listings, a lot of the time they don't answer the phone, especially if you're calling early morning. A lot of the time they don't answer the phone. You might have to try again in the afternoon, but the answering rate on expired, it's very low. A lot of the time they don't answer. Now the third one that you should call is, I don't know if you get a lot of these. Again, like I said, it's going to depend on your market, but in my market I do get a lot of these. In fact, I actually I listed one, and I'm talking to a seller right now that I might list that next month. He's just fixing the apartment. So the third one that I see a lot of success, and I think a lot of people sleep on it, is for rent by owners. If you have these in your market, man, definitely call them. For rent by owners are great, and most of the time they do answer the phone. So for rent by owners, these are people that they're just renting their house, so they're not looking to sell. So a lot of the time when you call them, hey, I usually, this is what I say when I call them, hey, I'm calling about the property I saw for rent. Is it still available, or did you end up renting it out, right? And then they said, no, it's still available. Are you trying to rent it out? And I was like, yeah, I'm actually giving you a quick call. If you get the right offer at this time, would you consider selling instead of renting out? A lot of the time they say, oh, no, I'm just going to rent it out. And a lot of the time they say, no, I just purchased the property. Which is also too, if you deal with the rentals, you can also offer to help them for a small fee, help them get a tenant, and then just get a small fee. I don't deal with the rentals, but if you do that, that's also great. Man, I can't stress enough, call these for rent by owners. I remember one day when I called this guy, he was like, hey, if I get the right offer, I would sell it, which is I actually ended up listing his house. So for rent by owners, if you don't have that many for rent by owners in your market, then just call expired and FSBO. Now the last one is circle prospecting. So this one is like you just target a certain neighborhood, and then you just call those people. Now this one, it's gonna take longer. So this one, it might take a couple months, it might take a year. So if you want business now, you probably don't want to call these people. So if you want business now, call FSBO, and then call expired, and then call for rent by owners. But if you want to wait, then the last one you should call is circle prospecting. Especially if you get a listing, you can target the neighborhood. Hey, I just listed your neighbor's property. Do you know anybody looking to move into town? right? If they say no, okay, got it. While I got you here on the phone, do you have any plans on selling or buying real estate in the future, right? And they might say, maybe in the future, or they might start looking for a bigger place, smaller place. But this one I don't do a lot, but so this is how I do it. FSBO, expired, because I don't get that many expired listings. Sometimes I do call old expired listings, and then for rent by owners, which is great, and then circle prospecting. Now, I've been cold calling for about 5 months now. I'm not gonna lie. Some months I slack, some months I don't call, especially when my wife had a baby like 5 months ago. I took about a month and a half off. So for 5 months, these are my results so far. One expired listed it on my first day of cold calling, which doesn't really happen, but sometimes you might get lucky, which is, so I got one listed, and then I listed another for rent by owners about 2 months ago. And then the next one that I listed was another expired. When I called the guy, I actually have, if you go back, you watch some of my videos, I actually have a video about that call on my channel. So when I met up with a guy, he was selling his house to buy something bigger. So he was on the market for about 3 months right here in my backyard. When I called him, I was like, yo, I could definitely help you out, get his home sold. Met with him, and he actually didn't sign on the first day, but I ended up meeting with him again, and then he signed. So I'm in the process of helping him sell his home right now and help him find another house. So you got to call these people. They do need help. They know that they need a great real estate agent like you to help them out. And then the third one that I listed about 2 weeks ago, that was a FSBO. So when I called this lady, she was like, no, I'm going to give it a try for about 2 weeks. I don't need an agent right now. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll check back with you in 2 weeks to see how you're making out. Then I called her 3 days later. Hey, how you making out? She was like, yeah, I'm doing fine. I think I'm going to give it another 2 weeks and see what happens. You can check back. Then I checked back with her, sent her a text. Then she stopped responding. And 1 month went by, nothing, kept texting. She was like, all right, I'm gonna wait about a month, then I'll decide what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna hire an agent or not. Then I kept texting, and she finally decided to meet with me, and she ended up signing, which is, I put it on the market, only 5 days, we received a great offer over asking. It's under agreement right now, which is, that's gonna bring me about $10,000 commission. I think it's great. I'm not trying to brag, but I think my hard work is finally paying off. So if you're cold calling right now and you're not seeing any results, just keep going. You're almost there. I mean, if you watch some of my older videos, go back 5 months ago, you can see how nervous I was. Yeah, my legs was literally shaking. Right now, I got a lot better. I got more confident. I still get really nervous when I make calls, but I'm less nervous than before. So the last one that I just listed it last week, which took me about 4 months. It was an expired. It was this guy. Every time I called him, he would tell me, "No, just call me next month. Just call me next month." He finally decided to meet with me. He signed last week. It's on the market right now for, I think it's about $625,000, and he's paying me a 3% commission. So hopefully to get it sold in the next few weeks. And also I have some great leads that I've been following up with, which is, I think right now it's a lot easier for me now to get at least one listing a month. So if I can do 2 a week, I think it's a lot easier for me to get 1 a month. So if I just keep calling, but so again, so that's just my opinion. I think, let me know how you make out, and I appreciate everyone watching my channel. Appreciate the support, the feedback. Feel free to message me on Instagram if you have any question. And by the way, I am licensed in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So if you have anybody coming this way, or if you're looking to invest, just hit me up, message me on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, Instagram. But until then, I'll see you guys on the next video.